Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tbilisi, Georgia, the country, not the state, okay? They actually frequently make mistakes in the news in the United States. This actually frequently happens. Well, they report something that happened in the country Georgia as something that happened in the state Georgia. And it happened recently. There were protests here in regards to the lockdown, and then some news in America reported it as happening in the state of Georgia. So I am in a place called Nari Kala Fortress, and it still goes up further. I haven't gone up yet, but as you can see, there's a church. We're inside a fortress. There's a lot of construction going on there. Really beautiful views from here. You can see the whole city of Tbilisi. Here, let's take more. There we go. That's the city. So basically, it's surrounded by hills, not really mountains per se, but hills, as you can see here. You can see that yellow church. It's a cathedral. I'm going to visit it probably tomorrow. I passed by it yesterday. It's quite magnificent, actually. The architecture is unbelievable. Reminded me a little bit of Istanbul, which is probably on the list as soon as the borders open, since it's right there. Istanbul has magnificent architecture. So does Tbilisi. They have all these really beautiful medieval cathedrals and churches, and you gotta be prepared to walk up and down quite a bit in Tbilisi. Also reminds me of Istanbul in that sense, really, because it's hills, right? It's very hilly. You're going up and you're going down. You're going up and you're going down. So I walked here, and it was a steep incline, right? And there's also a national botanical garden here. I don't think they're open right now because there are no tourists. I'm kind of lucky right now because this place would be swarmed with tourists at this current time. But because the borders are closed, they're opening it up in July 1st. Here you could see again more hills. Let's see. There we go. Wait. Yeah. So I would say Tbilisi is great for people who have an appreciation for architecture. And who like to walk a lot. It's very walkable. You know, it's a city of 1.5 million, so it's quite a big city. Noisy, but as you would expect, a city of 1.5 million. Very vibrant, full of life. So I would like to talk about, so here's the beginning of the topic that I want to discuss here. So all right, here we go. So what I want to talk about in this video is gender roles. All right, gender roles, their importance. I'm going to argue for their importance. I'm going to argue for their necessity even, because you know, part of the bullshit that we have been fed, I'm gonna set this up, yeah. So part of the bullshit that we have been fed by the media, by fake news and, you know, just the media, is that men and women are equal, and there's an equality, and there's, well, okay, not necessarily the equality. They use the equality because men and women are equal, but we have to define what does that mean. But they use the word equal, but really they're trying to cancel out the differences between the genders. You know, this is part of the agenda of the cabal of the deep state. Is you know, they're really screwing up with the human species. So they're really messing it up. They put chemicals in our waters and in our foods that mess up with our testosterone levels and our estrogens, and then we start to identify with, you know, I'm neither male nor female, and then you get all these like ran like a bazillion different genders, right? And that whole thing. So this is the part of the deep state agenda to mess up the human species by messing up the sexuality, their sexuality, right? And so they'll say, well, you know, in the name of equality, there's no difference between men and women, and that is absolutely bollocks, bullshit. And let me ask you this question: is there a difference between a bird and a fish? Absolutely. A bird flies, a fish swims. That's the Tao of the bird, and that's the Tao of the fish. Fish can't fly. Get the fish out of the water, it's gonna die within minutes. And put the bird in the water, and the bird's gonna die, it's gonna drown and die within minutes. Because that's not their purpose, that's not their function in this beautiful, diverse existence, in this beautiful, diverse experience that we're having here. At the core of everything is the oneness, is the consciousness, the essence, the awareness that is animating everything. That is, in fact, the same awareness that is you and I and the bird and the fish. But within that, the awareness is experiencing itself in the infinite ways in which it's manifesting. And that awareness wants to experience itself as a fish. Oh, what is it like to swim? What is it like to be a creature of the oceans, of the water? And it wants to experience itself as a bird. Oh, what is it like to fly? What is it like to be an air creature, always flying in the air? And it wants to experience itself as a human. What is it like to have these intellectual capabilities and these higher ways of experiencing and expressing, and poetry and art? And it wants, within that human experience, it wants to experience itself as a woman and as a man. It wants to experience, what is it like to have a vagina? What is it like to have this nervous system which is distinctly different than the man's nervous system? You know, it's more sensitive. You know, a woman's orgasm, for instance, is not comparable to a man's. They experience it a lot more intensely, but they also experience negative emotions a lot more intensely. So often you'll see women cry more, and you know, there is obviously a suppression of that for men, because men cry, and believe me, I cry, but the women tend to feel it more intensely because of their nervous system in simple biology, right? And so it wants, the consciousness wants to experience itself as a woman. All right, it wants to experience itself as a woman. What is it like? What is it like to have this nervous system? What is it like to have a vagina? What is it like to be wired in a way to give birth? What is it like to have estrogen, more of estrogen as opposed to testosterone? And same thing for the man. You know, consciousness wants to experience, what is it like to be a man? What is it like to have a penis? What is it like to have these more testosterone levels than the woman? What is it like to have this nervous system? What is it like to, you know, what is it like to be a man? You're just like, what is it like to be a fish? What is it like to be a bird? What is it like to be a female? What is it like to be a male within the human experience? And there are differences within that, of course. Less than, say, the difference between a bird and a fish, but still big differences, quite big differences. And they have to be honored and have to be embraced, because this is what God wants to experience. So by saying that, okay, let's cancel out the differences in the name of equality, now you have to understand that men and women and fish and bird, and we're all equal, but we're unique and we're different as we are expressing and experiencing this particular manifestation. Excuse the construction noises, you know, that's just what you get for, you know, so just bear with me here. So as long as you can hear me, that's all that's important. So we are all equal. Everything, all creatures, all sentient beings are equal. An animal's life is just as equal, just as important as a human's life. But we're all uniquely different. You know, just because we're equal doesn't mean we're the same. We're uniform in our expression. And you cannot go on about this in a healthy manner if you do not acknowledge these differences, embrace them, and love them, and experience them. Because, you know, when we come here, when we come to these, when we come to planet Earth and we take on this form, right? See, my soul wants to experience being a male in this incarnation because it picked a certain mission, and what helps that mission is being in a male body, in a biological male human body, and I want to experience that. Okay, now does that negate the other side, the feminine, because we all have the feminine and the masculine inside of us? No, it just means I have masculine tendencies and I have to honor them, just like a fish has fish tendencies, which is swimming, and it honors it by swimming in the water. The fish is not, it's not like thinking, it's not in the ocean like, I wonder what is it like to be flying right now, because I don't know, maybe the fish overheard R. Kelly's song, I Believe I Can Fly, and the fish, some fish motivational speaker talk to the fish and try to talk them into flying. All right, that's not gonna happen. So in the same way, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a woman. I'm not gonna pretend like, I'm a woman. I'm not gonna do that. I have masculine tendencies and I honor them. But I also honor the feminine aspects in myself. Like, for example, surrender and just flowing with the Tao, flowing with the moment is a feminine quality. And I try my best to do that. So I still honor that part of me and I still live it. Anytime you're dancing, you're in your feminine, and I love dancing. So, but I'm honoring the overall trajectory of this incarnation has masculine tendencies, and I honor them. So look, for example, making videos. Look, like just the act of making videos and speaking, that's an assertive quality, right? I do a lot of it because I feel inclined to do it, because that's my Tao, see? And I do a lot of it. I speak, and even the way my speech is, it's very assertive. You see, the way I speak is very assertive. The mannerism in which I speak, in which I deliver the message, it's quite masculine, assertive. And because I understand that I have a mission here, and I picked a male body, and so I must delight in my maleness. But I know at the same time, this is the paradox, that I'm neither male nor female, I'm both male and female. And while I am in this male body, I'm going to honor it. And if I had to guess, I have almost an equal amount of incarnations between male and female in all different life forms. Most of us do. So maybe my next life, I'll take on a female body and I'll delight in the femaleness. I'll delight in the feminine tendencies. Okay? So, no, these differences have to be honored, because that's how we are going to, look, at some point in the evolution of the human species, there is not going to be gender difference anymore. Okay, as consciousness evolves, these differences naturally lessen. But that's stupid to say, well, there's no differences right now. It's exactly like playing a video game and being in level 5 and pretending you're already at level 90, for example. No, you're not. You've got to unlock all these different levels. And humanity has a long way before it genuinely becomes an androgynous species. Okay, consciousness is always looking to go back into oneness. So yes, there will be a time in the human species where these gender differences are not there anymore. There will be a time, okay? But it is not this day, as Aragorn would say in his final speech at the gates of Mordor. It is not this day. It's not this day yet. We're far from that, okay? Look at how strong the duality is in this game, in this particular time-space continuum. It's very strong, very, very strong. So we have to honor that and not pretend that we're at some other level here. So I delight in my maleness, and so should you, and you should delight in your femaleness if you're a female, without ignoring the other side of yourself and honoring that. It's a tightrope to walk. You are always living in a paradox. You understand? There is a sense of there is definitely a trajectory to your birth, to your incarnation, to your particular round that you're playing right now, And for most of us, not all of us, for most of us, we will have more feminine tendencies, female tendencies, or more masculine tendencies, male tendencies. It has to do with our biology. It's simple. Biology. If you're a healthy male in a male body, your body is going to secrete more testosterone. If you're eating healthy, you're eating organic food, let's say you're like super healthy, you never lived in this, poison society. Let's say you're just super healthy. And you grow up as a male, your body is going to secrete more testosterone. Whenever I'm like on feeding healthy, sleeping, eating, the right foods, I got I'm waking up, I got a massive hard-on, and I get at random times I'm getting hard-ons, and I just feel it. More energy. I want to I feel the more assertiveness, because I know if I am healthy, my body, because I'm in a male body, it's going to secrete more testosterone. So to try and cancel that out and not acknowledge the situation as it is right now, that's part of the agenda of the deep state. So there we go. They know what they're doing in that sense. What else here? So to conclude all of this, to come around and conclude it and give you guys maybe something. I really love architecture, especially medieval for some reason. Talk about incarnations. I think I've had quite a few in the medieval era because I resonate strongly with medieval architecture. I really do. So yeah, what I was saying is to give you guys a conclusion here. Yes, men and women are equal but different and unique. Okay? So we're all integral parts of the dance of life. Imagine there were no females in this game, or there were no males. It'd be kind of boring, wouldn't it? Because it hasn't genuinely happened because once the planet, once everything here is evolved to 5th and 6th density, yeah, that stuff, it kind of dissipates at that point, right? But not right now. Not right now. To pretend otherwise is naive or stupid or deliberate to try and mess up with the species, with the human species. We are all equal, but unique and different. And we should delight in our current manifestation, in our current expression. And secretly, we all want to play these gender roles. We want to. We want to play. That's the secret no one wants to talk about. We want. However, it has to be agreed upon. It has to be agreed upon by both parties, meaning you discuss it, because all the most of the females, most of the women want to play a feminine gender role, a female gender role to an extent, and most men want to do the same thing. That's what nobody wants to admit, really. Okay, so you have to speak. If you have a partner, you have to speak about that with your partner and agree upon it, because it'll actually ultimately make both of you happy. Just like it makes the fish happy to swim and makes the bird happy to fly. If the bird is not flying and is swimming, that's a miserable bird that's soon to die. If you try to tell the bird, no, you're gonna swim, and if you try to tell the fish, no, you're gonna fly, this fish is gonna die within minutes out of the water. It's the same thing. The fish wants to swim, the bird wants to fly, the man wants to be a man, and the woman wants to be a woman. Okay, so but it has to be discussed. It has to be agreed upon. It has to ensure that both partners are happy in this arrangement, and see which roles they're comfortable to play in, and then not get attached to the roles, okay? Because every now and then you wanna maybe switch, maybe you wanna switch or this or that. Let's say you're the man, you both agree as the partners that you're gonna lead, right? But you don't get attached to the role. Every now and then, maybe you tell your woman to lead something or other. Every now and then, right? You have to communicate with your partner and see what it is that you're both comfortable with, and not get attached to the role. Get out of the script a little bit and see what it's like. Give your woman a chance to lead every now and then, right? Give your man a chance to just kind of sit back and relax. All right? But I think keeping those roles, keeping the big picture and the playing those roles will actually ultimately keep both partners, the female and the male, happy, just as it makes the fish happy to swim and makes the bird happy to fly. And when I say switching roles, like for example, you know, when you, for instance, you know, when you do something that is like way out of your character, way out of the, not even comfort, it's way out of your character, and you do it and you like doing it, but you come back and say, I don't want to do that again, because you're more comfortable in that, in playing the, flowing with your Tao, flowing with your role. It's the same thing. Anyway, I think I should stop rambling at this point. The message has come across, has gotten across. Yeah, I thank you guys for listening. If you want to support this channel financially, you've got maybe a couple of bucks a month. You could join the Patreon family or just give one-time donations on PayPal. I really appreciate it. I demonetized all the videos because you know, fuck the censorship, fuck YouTube in its, there we go, fuck YouTube in its current way of censoring. So, you know, I demonetize all the videos. If you'd like to help, I have the links for donations in the description. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.